What's going on YouTube? Big Dog Brett. I'd like to thank everybody for taking a few minutes to watch me every time I put a video up anyway. I wanted to go over the Georgia-Florida game real quick. Not going to be a long video, but wow, huge difference in coaching again. It's amazing to watch the coaching changes happen on the field. Georgia went out and was basically embarrassing Florida 10 minutes into the game. Not even halfway through the first quarter, blowout score already on the board. And Georgia maintained that through most of the first quarter, got into the second quarter. Florida made some changes, shut us down a little bit, winning at the half, fixed it, come back out, started scoring points. Get late in the game, put in the secondary string, third string, whatever it was we put in. Florida got some stuff going on offense and scored a garbage touchdown at the end. I mean, and that's all it was just garbage. I predicted 41-14. If Florida would have kicked those two field goals when they had the opportunity to, it would have been 42-13, which is a point off how many I set on the Dogs and a point off how many I set on Florida. But Florida just letting us embarrass them, or can't help but let us embarrass them, I should say. I told them that there was no way Florida was going to stop the run, and Florida couldn't stop the run against us. We had, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 300 yards in rushing. Sonny Michel had 137, which, good for him because he had a really rough game last year against them. Nick Chubb come out with 77 yards. He had 13 carries. He didn't have a big burst long run like Michel did. I mean, he had a 22-yarder, but he didn't have a 75-yarder like Michel did. One of the things I did like seeing was that Holyfield got in there, and he actually got some really good carries. On 4 carries, he racked up almost 50 yards. So even our secondary runner and our our second string of running backs is starting to perform really well. So that looks really good. Looking at Georgia's receiving, DeAndre Swift, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite players. That guy, he only had 4 rushes for 8 yards. He kind of got shut down some of the rushes, but he had that wonderful little swing pass where he went 84 yards, and he did this little spin move at the end, kind of burst through a guy, which was kind of cool to see. 3 receptions, 84 yards, and that long run was 39 yards. So you stack his stuff together, and he's right up there almost at 100 mark too. So Georgia's rushing 292 yards. Georgia's receiving was over 100 yards. They only threw the ball 4 times, and like I said, we didn't have to throw it. We don't have to throw it. We didn't even have to throw it to run the score up, which I thought we might have to run. If we wanted to run the score up, we might throw it 10 times or 12 times or whatever. But I think Kirby Smart came out and made a statement that he's gonna run that score up. He doesn't have to throw the ball. Don't care how good your defense is. But if we talk about Florida's offense, Florida's offense was it was horrendous. Frank's, just like I said, was terrible. 7 for 19. That's horrible. And he only had 30 yards. So that's like 4 yards a pass. I mean, you would have done better to do the quarterback sneak every down. It was terrible. Florida's rushing was actually kind of respectable. They had one guy once they kind of got the offense going, Perrine or whatever his name is. He had 93 yards, but if you take that guy out of the equation, it gets ugly in a hurry. Excuse me, still dealing with a cold here. They had 183 yards on offense, only 66 yards passing the ball, which I kind of liked seeing that because that shows that Georgia is able to provide that pass rush, is able to really shut down any kind of passing, kind of what we saw from Missouri. Georgia going in there and just saying, no, you're gonna have to beat us the hard way. It's gonna be a long game, and we're gonna make you work. Georgia absolutely embarrassed them, and I mean, another coach killer, another coach killed. Kirby Smart's wanted for murder in Gainesville. I mean, he's wanted for murder in Gainesville. They started that in Jacksonville, but it looks like now they're also looking for him in Gainesville. So can't go to Knoxville. Can't go to Rocky Top, and can't go to Jacksonville, can't even go to the state of Florida. And pretty soon it's going to be state of South Carolina too. So yeah, I'll do another video on that later. We forced a couple of fumbles, got a couple of turnovers, picked up an interception or two. But one of the other big stats that you guys may have missed is that Georgia had 5 sacks in that game, which is huge for us. We were like second to last or the last in the SEC in sacks. When you're able to provide that kind of pressure, you're able to get back there and sack a quarterback. That quarterback knows it's coming; he's going to cave, and that's exactly what happened to Frank. So much that they had to put their other quarterback in, Zaire, and he did okay. But Georgia's getting back there, interrupting that pass, making that guy wonder how many times we're going to blitz, whether we're going to come in there. It's going to be a rough day on anybody we play. Now they know that Georgia is able to get out there and get after the quarterback a little better. Georgia kick returns. We didn't have any kick returns because, we didn't have any kick returns. Florida kick returns, 68 yards. It's okay. No amazing big plays on special teams against us, and that's important because those big plays can really change the game. I love seeing Rodrigo kick it out of the back of the end zone. Doesn't give him an opportunity to make a big play. Georgia's defense is good enough that if you get the ball on the 25, you're not going to go the length of the field the majority of the time. Georgia's another thing is Georgia's red zone offense is still, I want to say, like 99.9% or 100% or whatever it is. So kind of clicking on all cylinders, which is nice. I do want to bring up one big fact for Florida that they should hang their hat on. They should be proud of, is that they had 381 yards in punting. So they had big numbers, just not in the right places. McElwain's fired. Kind of saw that coming. Don't know who they're going to get to actually take that role. They got a former Miami head coach who's coming to be the coach in the interim. A couple other things I want to talk about real quick. We just picked up Kalen Perry as a cornerback. If you guys don't know who he is, he's another Georgia native. He's also on ESPN's top 300 power players. That makes 6 for us. I foresee we're going to get a lot more guys. It's going to be a lot nicer. We're going to pick up more of those star players, and Georgia's just going to keep getting better. As far as Georgia's overall performance, of course, I'm a perfectionist. I always think we can do better. I didn't like seeing Perrin run down the field as much as he did. I thought our defense should have stood him up and stopped him up. We should have stopped the run a little better. And that's some adjustments that I'm sure the coaching staff will make and address this week and get that fixed. Real quick about South Carolina, I don't think that game is going to be a big problem for us. We're not going to look past them, but we're definitely gonna go over there and do what we do and beat Georgia and wear them out. So look for another video coming up soon about the Georgia-Florida game. I'm also going to do a top 10 video, kind of what happened. There was a huge mix-up in the top 10, by the way. Look at the AP poll versus the coaches poll. The only thing they agree on is the top 4. Everything else is up for debate, apparently. So I don't think any numbers match after the top 4. Every one of them's different. Looking forward to coming up with the college football playoff poll. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to do a little video on that. I'm going to go ahead and predict that I think Georgia is going to be number 1 in the college football playoff poll. And before you before you Alabama fans start raising sand about Alabama, please understand I'm basing these off numbers and stats. Georgia's had a better schedule, had a harder schedule. One of the teams that we beat's in the top 6 or 5 or however you want to look at it. They're easily in the top 10. One of the best wins in the country, bar none, bar anybody. So for that reason, I think Georgia's going to be ranked number 1. Has Alabama been beating people? Yep. Have they been blowing them out? Yep. Have they been playing ranked teams? Nope. Has Georgia been beating people? Yep. Has Georgia been blowing them out? Yep. Has Georgia been playing great teams and beat them? Yep. Notre Dame at home at night. That's tough, especially with a true freshman quarterback. Just shows the kind of guts and heart that Georgia have. So again, great win by Georgia. Looking for a long tradition of kicking them in the teeth moving forward. Way to go, dogs. So excited. Thank you for that win. We as the fans appreciate it and look forward to much continued success this season. You guys have a great day. Big Dog Brett. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you soon. Have a good day.